Right, so you can come with me today. We're going to be doing a couple of small jobs. Not a massive amount of bits and bobs to do. But we've got some small jobs. So just after Christmas, let's get back out there, start getting in some work, doing some smaller jobs. So come for the ride. We're going to do, we'll do 3 different jobs today. Right, so outside, our first job of the day. Now this is a plumber's bread and butter. This is the job that I get called up so often about, which is my tap is dripping. Now, we've got no idea what sort of tap it is, but let's go in and have a look. Right, so it's a traditional club head tap. So 2 separate taps, hot and cold, no mixer taps here. Now, if you've ever worked for the council, like I used to work for Cotsway Housing, you see loads and loads and loads of these. These and lever one and the lever versions, and they're all made by Bristan usually. But we need to get the washer replaced, so let's take off the head. So we're just going to take off the cap, unscrew the head, and lift it off. Oh, and I forgot to record it, but we've turned off the water, so we've actually turned off the gate valve in the airing cupboard. So we need to remove that cartridge. Now to do that, we're going to be using a 17mm socket. Now you could use a 17mm ratcheting spanner. You could use your adjustables if they don't slip. But yeah, 17mm for most common cartridge sizes. So there's a little screw on the bottom that holds in the washer, so we need to undo that so we can find the right washer and get it replaced. Now to make it really easy for yourself to remove the washer, if you get these that are pick set by Regan, you can use those to dig into the rubber, pick it out, and then you can pop it out. So we just got to find the matching one. So I've got a little pot of them. There's a little pot. It's got loads of tap cartridges and all sorts of things in there. But for this one, we just need a rubber washer. So we get that swapped over, put that in, make sure that's the one that fits in right, and we just screw it back up. But make sure you put the right inside towards the cartridge and the nice smooth side on the plate inside of the tap. So just make sure you get it the right way around, and that will ensure that you get a decent seal. So before we put the cartridge actually back in, we need to have a look and see what the plate inside of the tap looks like. Put your finger in there, have a little feel around. If there's any lumps and bumps, then use this. This is a tap revival tool from Monument. So what you do is you put it in, you wind it in. It's got all the different sizes for the different threads. You put it in and then you wind it clockwise, and that will grind you off a nice smooth surface. So get your finger in there, make sure it all feels nice and smooth. Now I've taken the head off of mine so that you can attach it to a drill. Now this is good especially if that's severely damaged or corroded. And there you go, it leaves a nice shiny clean plate for that washer to sit on. So you want everything nice and flat and nice and smooth. Now to wind the cartridge back in, we don't want to be using that great big socket set with a drill because we just end up breaking something. No, you just need a ratchet and spanner or your adjustable grips. So there we go, we're halfway done. So I feel like we deserve a cup of tea, so we're going to have a quick cup of tea. Right, add our tea. We sat in the van for 5 minutes. I'm only joking. Now let's get the head back on, let's get it screwed down and see whether or not it turns off. Nope, so we're going to actually take it all apart, do the same process again, but put a thicker washer in. So now that we've repeated the process that I've just shown you, we're going to put the head back on, wind it down, and there we go, job done. So we're going to give it a test, make sure it all runs nice, put that cap back on, just pops on, and that all runs lovely. So there we go. And we're just going to give the area a quick clean before we go, just because you will get a little bit of lime scale and this and that comes out. So just give everywhere a nice wipe down, a nice clean up, because the customer will only remember for how well you left that job and how tidy it is. They don't care mechanically what you've done, it's just how tidy it looks. Right, so that was a nice easy one. I always ask the customers as well when I leave is there anything else I can do for you whilst I'm here? Because with jobs like that, it took 10 minutes work, but nearly every plumber I know has a minimum fee, so minimum for your first hour. So I think if there's anything else you want me to do within that hour, I'll take a look for you. Customer didn't have anything for me to look at, but customer was a bit surprised by the price. Now, £65, that's my minimum for the first hour. So what are you guys' prices? Did I overcharge? Right, so this next one, again, it's a dripping tap, but they've got a tap to replace it. They just want to completely replace the tap. They found a nicer tap. It looks a bit nicer, so let's get it fit. So first off, we need to isolate the water. Now, there are some isolation valves. These are just the type with a flat-headed screwdriver. Put a flat-headed screwdriver in there, give them a quarter of a turn, and that's them off. So we're just going to open up the tap and make sure that they are off and they're not bypassing. Now, look at that. Beautiful. We've got a nice big thick nut. So it's not a monoblock, or it is a monoblock. What does monoblock actually mean? I don't know, but it hasn't got the tiny little nut, so we're going to have to do something about that. Now I'm going to disconnect all of the flexible hoses first. Get wet, get loads of water on my face, lovely jubbly. And then what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to remove those tails as well, because when we undo that back nut and we're pulling it off, we don't want to end up getting one of the pieces of brass on the bottom of those tails to get stuck and make it hard to pull out. So if you just at least take one off, then it'll make it easier to slide up and out. So you're going to wipe everywhere down and give it all a dry, because yeah, it got wet, didn't I? So let's put some new ISOs on so that we can connect up the flexible hoses. Now this type has a nice flathead, and then this type that I'm holding in my hand, this is made to take a nut and an olive. So we're going to actually be using a radiator tail in this one so that we can get a nice flat edge. So if you wind that in, you can see we've got a nice flat edge there. Now the reason being is you don't want it to end up cutting into the rubber. So on the new taps, got a flexible hose, it's got a nut, and inside of that nut is a black rubber washer. Now you can end up cutting into that if it's got a chamfer, whilst if it's flat it'll just press and squeeze up nice. Now with a bit of magic paste on the olives, we're going to just tighten these up. That pipe looks all wobbly and loose. Well, don't worry, it's just because it goes into a John Guest speed fit fitting, so that's why it's so loose. So let's get this undone. So like I say, for earlier I was going to remove one of them tails. Now because we've got that massive big back nut, all we're going to do is we're going to turn the tap anti-clockwise as much as we can, just to break the threads. So now that we broke the threads from the nut, we can now just flick the nut off. So just going to be using my hand, so one hand underneath, reaching up and trying to flick the nut, whilst I support the tap the other end, and I can twist it as well. So there's two of the ways that you can do your isolations. You can either buy the isolations with a flat surface, or you can use a radiator tail. Now, because there's isolations further back, we could have just used copper to iron as well. And it's really difficult to do things one-handed. This is why you need two hands, and you don't need to be on YouTube filming things. But we've got our new isolators turned off and the old isolators turned on, just to check that. So we're going to give the area all a good clean up. Now I see loads of plumbers that don't bother to clean up. Now that's a big mistake. You need to make sure you get them clean. So we need to attach the new tap. So we're going to need a deep socket. So I use these deep socket sets from Baco, whatever you want to call it. You can debate that with me. I always call it Baco. That's Baco's normal. I think if you say Barco, I think you're quite posh. It's Baco for us chavs, you know what I mean? So to install the tap, we just need to push it down through the hole. You put on your moon or crescent shaped back plate, and that should pop down through. Even on this is obviously a porcelain or ceramic sink, I've still managed to get it through. So it shouldn't be going up underneath with the tiny little nut, which you will probably lose. So let's get the new one tightened up. So we're just going to get our socket set up under there, and then we can tighten it all up. Makes it nice and easy. I'm going to hand tighten it first, and I'm going to put the socket on, get the extension bar, put my ratchet on there, and then we can tighten it up. No. Wait. No, I love that socket set. I loved it, and now it's completely useless because the only one that I actually need out of it is now missing. Don't worry, we've got a cheap back nut spanner set, or what do you call these, box spanner set that I've had for years and years and years, and these will always get you out of a pickle, and these are a very good starter kit for any plumber starting out. So we just got to wind down those nuts with the black rubber inside of them. We're just going to wind those down onto our flat surface. So get those wound down. Now, you don't need to go crazy tight with these. You've pretty much got to go hand tight and then give it a few nips up. Literally maybe one more turn. Now I'm using the grips to actually support the flexi so that that doesn't turn and end up spinning out of the tap. And we're just going to give it basically one full turn. So we just need to turn on the isolation valves and then check that everything is running fine. And that, my friends, is some terrible gravity-fed hot water. Right, so last job of the day. This is a super simple one. We're probably only going to need one tool, and that is a spanner, adjustable spanner. So let's have a look. I'm going to go with this bad boy. Yeah, just leave them open, just let any water out.
So whereabouts do you live? Obviously not far.
Treadington.
Oh, I drove through there.
Now, bless my customer, she was lovely. She made me a cup of tea. It was a lovely cup of tea. But she was what we call in the game a watcher. Now, you don't want to be a watcher. If you're out there and you're thinking of hiring a plumber for any little job, whatever it is, don't stand over their shoulder talking to them the whole time. Because it's a bit distracting, I don't know. But anyway, key one with this, you only need one tool, and that's a spanner because it's just all nuts. And then you just need to make sure you get it the right way up. I mean, if you get it upside down, you're an idiot. But remember, hot on the left, cold on the right. Turn that on, make sure it's running fine and it's getting warm. And that one is lovely jubbly. That's just a straight swap. You're just swapping over the bar. There we go. Good old lump of brass for today. So there we go. I'm going to get on with the rest of my day now. I've done enough filming. Customer on that one, she was right there. She was a watcher. So, if you like the video, give it a like. If you want to subscribe to watch more of this sort of bollocks, then you crack on, son. Crack on and hit that subscribe button. Also, I've noticed that every video on YouTube I'm wearing this baseball cap because look how bad my haircut is. That's the worst haircut I've ever had in my life, and that's why I'm always wearing a baseball cap at the minute. I'm not a chav. It's just it looks better than without, doesn't it? Anyway, I'm waffling now, so I'll catch you on the next one. See you later, bye.